29th of June, Rabbi Levitt, Gemora.
In the middle of the third wide line from the middle of the third wide line towards the bottom, about 10 lines from the bottom. Oh, welcome back, Lou. You want to read from Hilkach?
Okay, I'm trying to find it. Let's see. Hilkach, I see it. Hilkach, Amrinon Lay. Let's see. Therefore, we tell him, that is the son, Anan Hai Ki Sava Lo Yahavinan Le Lahai. We will not give this document to your father's beneficiary.
Right.
Dilma michtav kisave avuha. Because maybe your father wrote it may have lo yahava lay, but did not give it to him. Vi have tai at le inish acharina, and after you gave the property to another person, v'ka hadarta bay, which you now wish to retract. Ella, rather, I kushta ka im ras de yahav le avucha avuch. If you are telling the truth that your father gave him the will, zil at hashta, then you go now de kesiv le shitara acharina, and write him another document. Dei nami lo yachava le avuha, that if also your father did not give him the will, uchesav te at leinish acharina, and you wrote to another person, leis ba sefeda peseda, there will be no loss. De kama uvasra, between the first and the second. Kama zachai, the first one will prevail.
Okay,
Period.
period. So let's just go over this last line over here. There's something that is troublesome over here. We're saying that the inami lo yahibale avua, that if your father did not what are we saying over here?
Yeah, it's a bit convoluted.
One second. Eli ikushta ka'amart, the yahiv le avuch. In other words, the story is that the son is demanding that the document number one that's now in the hands of the Bezdin should be given to Jew number one that it's made out to.
The beneficiary.
Yeah, but the Bezdin is concerned that perhaps the father retracted, and even though he had the document written, but he never gave it to Jew number one because he changed his mind about giving it to him. And then thereafter he passed away. So the court doesn't want to give it to Jew number one. That's what they originally said. They originally said, Ela amrinan le, we say to the son, Anan hai kasava lo yahivan le lahai. This document that we have in our possession, document number one, made out to Jew number one, we are not prepared to give it to him as you request that we do. Because of this concern we have. Maybe your father never changed. He changed his mind. He never actually gave it to him. Um, um, and maybe you, as the one who inherited from your father, Dilma Michtav Kesavt Miha Lo Yehiva Nahali. No. That's talking about the father. Maybe the father had it written, but he decided never to give it. You have Tal Inishachrina, and he gave it to somebody else.
It's the son that gave it to somebody else.
The son gave it. Yeah. You have Ta Inishachrina.
Did the son write a new document to give it as a gift, or did he give the original document to a second person?
No, he wrote a new document because the Bezdin is holding the first document.
So then we have nothing to worry about.
Why do we not have anything to worry about to give it back?
Because if Jew number one gets the first document,
yeah,
Jew number two has the second document, then they can each present their document to the court, and the court can figure out which is right.
Yeah, but the court is going to say that, and that's what the Gemora says, that Leislep Seder, Oh, even if your father didn't give it, there's not a pseda because kama v'basra kama zachi. So we have to figure out who's the kama and who's the basra. I would have said Jew number one is the kama and Jew number two is the basra.
Right.
But if you say that, so then the Gemora says, oh, there's not going to be any loss to anyone over here because the court's going to say between the Jew number two and Jew number one, kama zocha. Jew number one is going to be zocha.
Right. Which is correct.
But we just got through saying that we have a concern that maybe the father changed his mind and he never actually gave it to Jew number one.
Oh, so Jew number one shouldn't I see. I see.
Oh, good. So now somebody understands my problem.
So the father held on to the document and then it got lost.
Yeah. But there's something very strange because the Gemara itself said above that we're not going to give it to we're not prepared to give this document number one to Jew number one. We're missing something over here. We're definitely missing something.
Well, why does
so I see what we're missing. You know what we're missing?
No.
I'll tell you what we're missing. Look at let's read from where it says Ella. Ella ikushta ka'amart. Says the Bezdin to the son. If it's true as you are claiming, the Yohiv le avuch, that your father actually did give it to Jew number one. That's what the son is claiming. So if he did so, zil ad hashta, so you now go, uksiv le shtarach rina. You go yourself, you the son, go and write a different document number 3, we'll call it, today, to Jew number one. Okay?
Wait, I have a problem with this scenario. If the son is claiming that document number 1 was given to Jew number 1,
right?
Then why did the son give anything to Jew number 2?
That's a good question. He'll have to have a story for that. Right.
He didn't realize that the father had given it, and so he gave it, and then he realized his mistake. Is that what he's trying to say?
Maybe that's one way for him to make his story sensible. Okay.
That's kind of bizarre.
Yeah, it doesn't right. Yeah, I mean the case is a little strange according to the son. I mean, according to the facts that we have, the case is very strange. And maybe so we understand very well why this court is very suspicious over here, this son.
Right.
That's easy to understand. But that's what the court is saying now, the Bezdin. If it's true as you claim that your father, before he passed away, gave this document number 1 to Jew number 1, that's what you're claiming, because that's what you're telling us, that you'd like to that you're demanding that we return this lost document to Jew number 1. If it's true as you claim, So then, Zil Adhashta, go right now, you, Uksivle, and write out to him, meaning to Jew number one, Shtar Achrina. Write him a different shtar. We're not prepared to give him document number one. But if you say that he's the real guy, oh, here's the answer to your question, Lou. Here's the answer to your question, I believe. Here's the answer to your question. What's his name? Maybe the son is claiming that he never wrote anything to Jew number two. Does that make sense? I mean, in other words, Jew number two is not in front of us in this proceeding now. All we have right now is the son and Jew number one. We didn't call in Jew number two over here yet because we don't know who he is. And the son certainly didn't tell us about him either, right? He's just coming in, the son, and saying, yes, my father gave Jew number one this document before he passed away. So give Jew number one this document, right? He's not telling the Beis Din. He's not telling the Beis Din that he already wrote a document after the father passed away and after he inherited the property, that he didn't tell us that he gave this property as a gift to Jew number two, and now he'd like to change his mind and undo it. He didn't tell us all of that, so we don't know that, right?
But we suspect it.
Oh, you mean why do we suspect such a thing now? Because we don't even know about this Jew number two. We don't know about him. We don't know about another document. We don't know. We suspect it, yeah.
It says Te'i nami lo yahav le avuha. Right? That's even if you are lying, my English says.
Because even if you're lying and your father never gave this document to Jew number one, never gave it to him.
L'kasavte es la'inish acharina, and you wrote a document to another person. So
right.
The court is suspecting that the son did write a second document.
Right. After he inherited, after the father passed away, and now he inherited, and now maybe he wrote a document to Jew number two, because we're worried about somebody losing out as a result of giving this document number one to Jew number one. Who's that person that would lose out? Jew number two, who's holding document number two. We don't know that he even exists. We don't even know that there's such a thing altogether. But we're saying in our mind, theoretically, that's the person. If he exists, he would lose out. We would be worried about him losing out. So now the court is saying, you know what? He's not going to lose out. Why is he not going to lose out?
Because the first document prevails.
And right. And who's the first document?
Jew number one.
No. The court is not giving back document number one to Jew number one.
Right.
So when the Gemora says over here, Kama v'basra, Kama zochi, we have to identify. It's confusing. We have to identify who's the basra here and who's the Kama that the Gemora is referring to. The Kama and the Basra that the Gemora is referring to are the documents that the Basra is the document number 3 that we're telling the son to write now to Jew number 1. Okay?
Right. So both of those documents are written by the son.
Right. And so if there would be a document number 2 written to Jew number 2, that document is really called the comma over here.
Right.
Okay, that's it. We got it. Baruch Hashem. That was really confusing.
Yeah.
Okay, and now is the day that we've all been waiting for. Phil is going to read, and he has an awful lot of reading to do over here. Right, Phil?
Yeah, it didn't look like it was stopping, actually, did it?
Okay, so.
Right. Okay, what are we reading now?
Okay, so what should we read? Where should we start our reading over here? Hiva leinish achrina leisle pseda. I don't know the you know what? Let's read the long one. That's for sure the one that we have to read over here. Kama zacha.
Which one?
Kama zacha.
The Kama zacha, the long one. Okay, you can't miss it because it's the one that's the whole page. Okay, go ahead. Kama zacha. Yeah. How much?
That's it.
Kama zacha. How much he is merits to get?
The first one is the one who's going to be zacha, as between the second one and the first one. And we're identifying the first one over here really as Jew number 2, who got the document written by the son.
Right.
Okay. Good luck.
So wait a second. I've lost track of where we are already because this is forever. Kamazacha.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so the Kamazacha, how much he merits. Yes. Me'acha Shestei Shara, so after there were 2 documents, so that came out, Mishmech HaKodem, in his name, HaKodem Zacha, but the first one is the one that you get. That's the valid one, the first one, if there were 2 documents. Okay. Shemat and Abri, because it's the gift of a healthy person. Hey, the hashta now, the ukmina, that it's established, time of the reason, the lo yachzer, that he shouldn't return it, mishum, because dilma katva, he wrote it, lahai, to this one, the amlich, and then he changed his mind. So below yehev lay, and you shouldn't give it to him. The hadar, and you go back, and katva leinish acher, and he wrote it to another person. So he changed his mind, and now he wrote a second one. Leka lemirma lematanot. That it isn't lemirme matana to be a deceiver on gifts. Velo tidok, and you shouldn't make a diak on that. From a Mishnah, relating to gifts. Omer Tanu, and here it says, give it to him. No name, give it. Techi Nami, because also Omar Tanu, he also says give it. Shayach, it's applicable to say, Taima, the reason is the lo yachzir, and you don't return it. Mishum she'ani omer, because I can say, Kotvin, that they were written by you, v'nim lach, and he changed his mind, he's changed his line in them. Shalo l'tanen, lo tanan, that he shouldn't give it, the hadar, and he retracted, katva, his writing, the inish becherem, to another person. Okay, and it just keeps going. Begaba, the Yitko, in relation to this, that's a taiki. What's the taiki?
That's the will.
The will, okay, and regarding a will, then, im came, if so, im omar, if he says tanu, if he says give it, no name, he does give im hu kayam, if it exists, taha talui tala, because that depends tana on a tana. In the Mishnah there, they identify himself. Time of the reason, mishum sha'ani omer, because I could have say nimlach, he changed his mind on it. Shalo l'tanen, so you don't teach the e namnit alternately. Achihu the nimlach, it's his that's changed his mind. Hashtanau yumamar tanu, if he says give it, then you give it. The leka l'meim the mechash, you shouldn't be concerned l'midi to this about it. Bahashta, that's abbreviation. Hashtakama.
Hachikama.
Hachikama, and this is what we say. Matzah tike. We find this will, or matana, or a gift. Lo yachzir, you don't return it. Shani omer v'chuli, because I can say this. The heicha, and now the Amar Tanu, give it to him. Shayach, it's applicable to say, lo yachzir, you don't return it. Mishum, time of the reason, shani omer, because I could say, kugon, matna, bri. It's a gift of a healthy person, or nashkiv mara, or someone on a sick bed, umeis, and he dies. And bury in a healthy person. Come on to say Tanu, give it to him.
His son says.
His son says, what does it say? The son? It doesn't say the son.
Bray is the son.
Bray is the son. Okay, and the son, Kamo says Tanu, give it. Shema'ini, that he learns out.
Yeah.
You learn out mimatnas from the Mishnah, the lo yachzir, that you don't give it back. The
right.
Lo da'igun, don't make a diak on this. Omer, that it says tanu, to give it to him. Kotvim, that it's written. The heicha, the lo shayach, and it's not applicable to say shani omer, that I say could go on the on the deathly ill person. Shalom, that doesn't die. That's machalav. He doesn't die in a machalav. On it. He forgives him. He will, and Omar says, Tanu, give it. The bato now is now bato. Shani Omer, Hilchach, therefore, Levin, give it.
And Yomer,
Rashi. Yeah.
Oh, Heichad Loy Shaykh Lememar Shani Omer. And where it's not possible to say Shani Omer, what's that case? Kagon B'shchiv Meirasha Lo Meis Michalio. Here you have a case of a shchiv. What about, we didn't talk about this case. What about a case of someone who makes a deathbed gift? And we said that he could change his mind, but in any case, if he doesn't actually pass away from the sickness that he's now suffering from, so even if he never changed his mind, and even if he never wrote a new gift to a different person, which would prove to us that he did change his mind, since he didn't die from the sickness that he was sick from, there's a there's a uncontrovertible assumption that we make that he never intended to give the gift to the person in the event that he survives. He only intended to give it to him if he doesn't survive. It was like a will, but as long as he didn't pass away, so it's clear that he never meant to give it in such case. So the whole gift is batal. That's what Rashi's saying over here. Kagon b'shchiv meirasha lo meis mechalyo daikinen amar tnu. If somebody says tnu, give it to him, we don't listen to him. Why? In that case, the batal. Shani Omer Hilkach Nosnim. Therefore, we give it. Oh, Okay, well, nice try. All right. Okay, so that's the Rashi. Fine. Rashi's discussing a fine point, which is not really. Of course, it's nogea to the pshat, but it's we got the pshat without this what Rashi's saying over here that we don't understand. Okay, so in any case, let's go weiter. Fine.
Rabbi, I think we're out of time.
We're out of time. Okay. All the best,
That's what you
everybody.
get. We'll call the Rashi, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Lou.
Phil's up next.
Shkoyek to Phil for doing that Rashi.
Thank you. Good. Well, we're waiting for it. Take care. Be well.
Bye.
Thank you, Rabbi. See you tomorrow.
Bezrat Hashem.